Welcome, I'm Lloyd, and this is the much delayed Dressing Gown Diary preview show of the 2021 Six Nations. I don't know about you, but the turgid crap that was served up in the autumn internationals or Nations Cups, it just made you think and wonder, why the hell am I watching this rubbish? Eddie Jones has become anti-rugby, playing a sort of game that if the nothing was on after three phases, we'll just kick it away. Yes, England did win in against Wales, but the type of rugby that was played was poor. Yeah, I was just looking at it thinking all England need to do is attack in phase and they'll blow Wales apart. Wales are in such poor form. Yes, they did end up winning it, but it was against a French C team. France had to negotiate a deal where the players could play no more than 3 matches each. It was just crap to watch. That said, the unions did need the money, so are they now prostitutes? I don't know, that's a question that we're not going to debate right now. What we have got to look forward to, though, is this 2021 Six Nations. Difference being, there are no fans. What impact will that make? Well, could make a massive impact. Certainly, Ireland and England who've got to visit Cardiff won't be as worried. Scotland won't be as worried going to Twickenham. And certainly the Irish fans at home won't be as vocal because they won't be there. Let's move on quickly then to this weekend and see where we're at. So Italy, wow. Italy, what do you do? You're on a 27 loss run. It is enormous. Got a new coach in, showed some signs of improvement during the autumn, certainly against Wales. Got some young players who played well in the Under-21 World Cup. So it's probably more exciting than it has been for Italy for a while. But can they find a win? That's a big ask. Every team will be thinking that they could do... at the moment, I predict that it's probably a battle between France and England. I think I've got France to actually take a grand slam. England will be very close. Ireland and Wales will be hoping to squeeze into the top half, maybe even a little bit more. And Scotland are there thinking that they could actually do something. But we'll come on to Scotland in a minute. France, Dupont has been a player of world rugby for quite some time. If he can continue his progress, he's electric to watch, sees space. He's only a small guy, proving that you don't need to be a massive 20-ton unit to be good at international rugby. You can be a small guy, run round people and just go, thanks very much, I've got a gas on you. The second game of the weekend is the Calcutta Cup. England versus Scotland. First time this game has ever been played without fans in 150 years. Scotland haven't won at Twickenham since '83, so they've never won in the Six Nations. That is some big stat. Things to look forward to, though, are some positivity. They've won 3 on the bounce in the Six Nations at the end of 2020, which they've never done before. So they have the possibility now to make that 4, which would, of course, be a new record. England, not without problems. They're the core spine of the team for some time has been the Saracen players. Can they find a way to effectively find match fitness? They're not playing. Billy Vunipola played against the Trailfinders, whoever the hell they are. Farrell, Itoje, they're not getting game time. Can they up the game? Clearly they're training, but there's a massive difference between training at international level than actually playing a test match game, especially against Scotland. If Finn Russell shows up with his box of tricks, we're in for a great game. I really hope that actually, my best hope would be that Scotland find a way of scoring early tries, which force England to play into a game plan where they have to be a bit more expansive. Otherwise, we risk that they're going to be just kicking constantly, looking to eke penalties out and looking to play a very tight game. As a rugby fan, I'd much look forward to see it a bit more expansive. Finn Russell, just open it up. Do what you do best. Just go for it. And let's see if you can embarrass Farrell. The final game of the weekend sees an early mid-table clash. Wales and Ireland. Both with new coaches. Both at very, very different sections of progression. If you look first at Ireland, Farrell has tried to introduce a slightly different attacking structure, which seems to have worked quite well. But when they've been tested against the bigger teams, being Ireland and France, they've struggled. So they have made some progress from Joe Smith, but still not the finished article. They're obviously relying on some of the older players, as Wales are as well, with Sexton and Murray, getting towards the twilight of their careers. Wales, Pivac, brilliant at Scarlets, but hasn't managed to transfer that type of game to Wales. The warm-up game in the autumn against France was one of the worst games Wales had ever played. Didn't look like they knew what they were doing, whether they'd even met each other, and yet there were over 1,000 caps within the squad. So you have to ask yourself what the hell was going on in training camp prior to that. But it'll be interesting to see whether Wales can progress. Pivac has got a break clause in his contract during this season. Will he be under pressure? One win against Italy won't be enough. I think he's going to have to find 2 or maybe 3. Can he find that? Certainly be looking at this home game against Ireland as a possibility, and then looking at away at Scotland, and anything he picks up against England or France will be an absolute bonus. Certainly England coming to Cardiff, it's nowhere near as intimidating without the fans. So the Six Nations will be very, very different. I think our ability to hear the players chat and the referee talk is something that we've never really experienced before, because it's drowned out by the noise of the crowd. So Freddie's flutter, what do we think? Well, I've looked through the games and I actually have a sneaking feeling Scotland are going to do a little better than the bookmakers are offering. So on the handicap bet, if you back Scotland, you can get 13.5 points on an even money bet. And I think there's value in that, because I can't see England blowing Scotland away with the type of game plan they're bringing. I think Scotland will make it close. So Freddie's flutter for the weekend. Back Scotland at 13.5. You should get even money. It'll be around 13 depending on which your preferred bookmaker is. But look, this is the Dressing Gown Diary. Hope you enjoy your 6 halves of rugby over the weekend. And we'll catch you next week for a roundup of round 1 and then the preview of next round. Thanks very much.